starting Simon Tafresh Chaf Hey, starting Hilchos Sukkah. But Sukkah's Teishu Shivas Yomi. Pasuk says that you should, sit in the Sukkah for 7 days. Keep a Sukkah Hoshafti as Bnei Yisrael. Because I put Bnei Yisrael in Sukkahs, in a Sukkah in the Midbar. So what is this? Hey, Anani Akavod, Shehikifam Behen Leval Yakim Shara V'Shemesh. So this is the one shita that Shulchan brings, that the sukkah we're talking about was the Anani Akavod. Yeah, the Anani Akavod which protected them from Shara V'Shemesh, from like the heat and the sun and whatever, hot wind. The other shita which there is, which the Shulchan does not bring, is that they put him in actual sukkahs. That the Klal Yisrael built actual sukkahs in the midbar, and it's not just a zeicher only for the Neitzer Nani Akavod, but it's a zeicher for all the those in some sort of sukkah in the midbar for 40 years. So it's a zeicher for the Neis of all the Nisei midbar. The time is the reason they say that Shita holds you can't say Nani Akava, because the Nani Akava ain't lomdin efsher v'yefsher. You can't learn Hilchos Sukkah of Tzeil and all these things or whatever. See in a second, we can't learn that from the Nani Akava. You can't. It's not something you can learn from. It has to be you learn from something that has to be where there's actual sukkahs that they dwelt in. However,
how does this opinion handle that question?
No, he says I said Dana Esher Mi'Esher. You can don. You can. The Iker Deis is Inanei Kavod. It's just the other sheet that says, well, yes, it's Inanei Kavod, but there was actual sukkahs also, and you learn from those sukkahs there, which is a zeicher for all the nisei, all the nisim of the midbar. Why do we do sukkah then and not after Pesach? Because that's when they started into the midbar. Is that's to be nicker that you're doing it for, not for a hut, for a gazebo or whatever. You're doing it for a sukkah. You're doing it for a sukkah. The mitzvah and these two, and the emphasis is when you get to Hilchos Sukkah, these two tamim is something person has to have kavanah for these two reasons. Both shitas is brought down in order to be yotze the mitzvah sukkah. When a person, the first night he eats, and when he eats in the sukkah, he has to have kavanah for both these two tamim. Zecher Nani Akavod is zecher for the sukkahs in the midbar. Well, mitzvah l'takin a sukkah miyad la'achar Yom Kippurim, and mitzvah bal yado altach mitzena. Right, you should go ahead and you should do the set up the sukkah right after Yom Kippur. The mitzvah bal yado altach mitzena. And this is different than we just said in the last siman. You also have to go ahead and build it, Motzi Yom Kippurim. So either the pshat over here is that it doesn't mean Motzi Yom Kippur. It means as soon as possible. It means the next day. So they should do it as soon as possible after Yom Kippur. Even if you're doing it after Chatzos, and there's a discussion: can you do it after Chatzos and Erev Shabbos? Some say yeah, because it's a ma'aseh mitzvah, and you don't have time, so you can still do it after Chatzos and Erev Shabbos. The mitzvah is to Bezaris to do it. I know of people who finish their sukkah, 5 minutes before sukkahs. So whatever, things happen. Whatever. So yeah, but the mitzvah is to do it as early as possible. Why doesn't so why is it the one other nakuda just I want to point out is what just to define what is a sukkah, which is going to define in the next number of simanim about how you build a sukkah. Is the sukkah we're trying to learn from is on the kavod, or for sukkahs, the actual sukkahs is that it had something that had 4 walls, right? 4 walls, a temporary roof. It wasn't an actual roof. A temporary, some sort of temporary roof. It wasn't a house. It was a roof. It was a sukkah, and that gives protection, sail from the shemesh, and mechitzas, which would give protection from sharav, from wind, and it also has a din. Not only does it have a din of mechitzas and a din of a gag, but it also has a din of an oil as well, which we'll see later in nafkaminas as well. It's also has one, it's a dira, like I said, it's dira sa'arai, and it's an oil as well. And a lot of these din are going to come into play because you see there's din oil by Shabbos. How does it apply over here? Din mechitzas by Shabbos, eruvin. How do they apply by Sukkah as well? There's different things, and each sin is going to go through one prat of taking the ultimate sukkah and say how much can you play with the schach and with the walls and with all these things. So we'll start with the first here. Tafesh chavav. Someone who builds a sukkah under a tree or under a roof. Now, so Aleph ain la'asay sukkah tachas abayis or ilan. Now, the pashut thing, the pashut case is that you're not supposed to go ahead and build a sukkah under a house, even though you're being protected. You're sitting under the sukkah. What do you mean? I'm not sitting in the house. I'm sitting in the sukkah. It's mafsik, but afal it's not. That doesn't work. It has to be tachas avir shemayim. Even though yes, you are sitting under schach, but the schach has to be between you and shemayim. It has to be that which is protecting you from the shemesh, not anything else. And we'll see later on in dinner Sukkah is a different issue. But over here now the thing in the Gemara gets into is tachas ilan, which is sort of like a middle case because it's so the point of ilan has to be under the shemayim. So the question is what is the problem of it in tachas ilan, and how do we fix that? So also the issue is I was wanting to really see this clearly is what are we talking? How tall of a tree are we talking? Or even the house. You still under a house. Let's say it's you're talking 100 feet up. There's a roof. So that would be a problem. Right? You do it in a house, and let's say you're talking is the 100 amos up, whatever it is. There's a roof. It's a problem because there's a hefsek between you and shemayim. Now, if it's something you couldn't see, let's say say there's a plane flying over. The question is there's a plane. I don't know if a plane's a hefsek anyway, but if it's something, let's say it's a tree. Let's say you're sitting under a very tall tree. I guess the point is if you can see. I mean, if you see there's a tree there, and you know that there's some sort of shade bothering. It has to if it's to the side. Even though the sun shines through the trees and it gives shade to the sukkah, it doesn't passel the sukkah. It's only if the branches are actually hanging over. So even if you could see the branches, let's say you're sitting underneath a redwood or something, I don't know, whatever, and if you can't tell there's any branches above, you don't have to worry about it. Generally, as long as you can see there are branches above, it's not considered tachas of shemayim, and it's a problem. So what do? Yesh oimim she'im ha'ilam tzilasim rubim chamasa. If the tree is tzilasim rubim chamasa, if the shade, it's more shady than sunny, which is the shear you need for schach, or that's what gives you tzeil. If a sukkah is not more shady than sunny, then it's not good schach. You have to fill it in more. So if the ilan is very shady, psula b'chol inyan, and then that's the shade you're sitting under. So that's possible. So even if the sukkah itself is more shady, even without the tree, but since you're sitting in the shade of the tree, and that's on top of the sukkah, so that's a problem. If the tree is not as shady, it's a thinner tree, but it doesn't have many leaves. So if the sukkah is shadier than sunnier, below ilan kshera, so then you look at the ilan is doing nothing, and therefore you're sitting in the shade of the sukkah of the schach, and that's fine. Afil lo hishpil ha'anafim lamata la'arva im schach ha'sukkah. Even if you don't go ahead, we'll see in a second what this means. Even if you don't take the branches of the tree and mix them in with your schach. If the sukkah doesn't have enough, it's not thick enough, the covering is not thick enough to go ahead and to call it, to say it's shadier. Only with the elon does it go with the tree, does it make it shady enough. And you want to go ahead and you're stuck and you want to be machshirit. You have to go ahead, in the Shittas Rashi, you have to go ahead and you have to bend the branches down and mix them in with the schach so they wouldn't be nicker. It wouldn't be nicker where they are. So there's a couple dinim here. One is that they shouldn't be nicker. Now, the pictures here, they all show a picture of let's say, a person in normal, it's more normal in here in Israel, this is like LA, it's more normal to have schach made out of palm branches. Obviously palm branches don't grow, they don't have them. But so if you have a palm tree, hanging right above your sukkah, so you can go ahead and you can go ahead and take the branches of the palm tree, even though they're attached, and sort of stick them on top of the sukkah, if it's the right height, and then you stick other branches on top. So when you look up, yes, you stand on the outside, there's a tree there, but when you look up from the inside, you can tell what's tree and what's not. So that would be, and there's more schach than there is tree, then that would be fine. And there's a discussion about why is it, how can you mevatel? It's schach also. How can you mevatel l'chachila? So it's an Aruch Shulchan is interesting text. I'm going to ask the question of the Aruch Shulchan. Is an interesting thing. He says that because there's a difference here than other stam isur. This is not isur. The Meragam learns that it's isur. He says no, it's not isur. The question is it good schach or not good schach? He says, in reality, the question is the gag the question is it parts move or not? You've done the schach like a mechitza, and that's how you judge it. Is it is it mechza, or is it a mitzvah? However, other achronim do give different terutzim, and they say that since it was done before, it's not done before Sukkot, it's not considered an isser. So it's an interesting way to misyaches about is it bittul by mitzvahs or not. There's an interesting discussion over here. If the sukkah is shady, shadier without the tree, and the tree is not that shady. So the first shita says if the issue is that it depends on if the tree is chamasa merush mitzilas or not. That's the whole thing we have to look at. If it's tzilas merush chamasa, then it's a problem unless you mix it in, and if it's chamasa merush mitzilas, it's not a problem at all. Even the sukkah itself is shadier below Ilan. Ilan chamas v'mitzilas. The Ilan is not so shady. Since there's a hefsek between the schach and shemayim with the Ilan, so if it's neged schach hakosher, it passes it no matter what. Bein sha'ilan kodem bein sha'sukkah kodmo. It doesn't make a difference what came first, even though there's a shita Rishonim. There's like 5 or 6 shitas Rishonim here. There's a shita which holds that I think it's the Balmor, not the Balmor. I forget if it was the Ram maybe. Who says it doesn't make a difference if you built the sukkah first or the tree came there first or not. But this shita holds it doesn't make a difference. It's not. We don't make that chiluk. Kivin sha'amfi ha'ilam mechuvanik neged schach hakosher. Since it's neged schach hakosher, so then it passes it. Hagal hishpil ha'anafin lamata ve'irvan im schach. If you go ahead and do it like the other shita said, and you stick you take the branches and stick them into with the schach, she'ein nikar, and you can't tell. B'teilei v'asukah kshera. The Ramah says that even according to that shita, obvious that there is a din of bittul and it would work. It's still that would work. V'chein.
Only before Sukkot?
No, doesn't make a difference. Even well, on Sukkot itself, you could do it on Chol Moed. On Yom Tov itself, that's a different shayla. Even enough in Keneged HaAvir shebein schach kosher. But let's say there are gaps in the in the schach, and let's say you have like a gap of like 2 tfachim, something like this, and the tree branch is hanging over there. Schach harbe. Filu yinato neged ha'ilan nishar kishir. Let's say so that spot where the shade of the tree is falling, the branches are covering. Let's say you remove that spot, and there's still enough schach in the sukkah to say kamas mitzilasa and kshera. Then it's still kosher. It's not that you're trying to mavad. It's not like the issue is the branches and which schach. The issue is which from are you're trying to mavatal the tzail. So if there's enough tzail even without the tree, then that's good enough. There's enough shade. Since the schach without the ilan has enough shade, then it's kosher. That makes no difference. There's one din. Again, so we're going to be probably machmir for al shita. So if there is a tree over your sukkah, so then unless you go ahead and you take the branches and stick it and mix it in, let's say the tree is high up, you can't do that, then you have a problem. According to the first shita, so if according to the second shita, if it's open, only if it's open in an open spot. So if you talk of a tree, so then if you talk a judge that there's enough, you have thick enough, it's a big enough sukkah, that you have enough, shade without those parts, without what you measure, both parts of the schach, so then that would be okay if it's chamas, if the tree is chamas and beruv mitzilasa, right? If it's as long as the tree is more sunny. So that's where where you get down to. If a person has a tree above, so he has to be nizer, in all these things. We'll get to later on. Later on, you're going to get to discussions about other types of overhangs and things or whatever. But this tachas Elon is a special din.
So even just one branch has this problem?
One branch would be a problem. Yeah.
You don't just say that one branch, okay, so that's schach basel, and just don't sit under that.
No, it's not. Schach basel is a din of dofakuma. This tree branch is going to passel the sukkah.
Even one branch.
No, one branch can't. No, so that's the thing. If it's over the sheet, that's one branch. It's big enough that without the schach on the bottom, you're gonna go ahead and you're not gonna have a shear. It's not gonna be shady enough. Then passels the whole sukkah, even one branch. If it's a few leaves, I don't know. If it's a few twigs and things, I'm not sure. The kobe is not enough. Actual branches. Beis im katzat ha'ila and the hakshiroi. This is based on the Shita Sarabah. So there's another. The Rabbah has a whole different pshat in what it means to be ma'ariv and whatever. He holds that the pshat to be ma'ariv is that you cut the branches off and then you ma'ariv it. And the whole shaila in the Gemara is a shaila of tasalomina osoi. That you went ahead and you stick the branches there, you cut them, and then you cut them. So then the shade was already there. So then you have to go ahead and you have to lift it up. Whatever you have to ma'ariv it means you have to lift it up. So this sif base is based on the Shita Sarabah. There is another Shita, a Shita Savina Tam, which it depends on a different halacha later on about putting a sheet under the schach to catch falling leaves. So or for noi, is that okay? The pashas it's okay. Even though we don't do that, but al mikra din it's fine. because so the question is, what? Because it's tafel to the schach. The question is, what's in between, between the tree and that? If you're not sitting under the schach, you're under a tree, you're under different things. But we say that so that's the Rebbeinu Tam Zalman says any mechitza, anything above it, the question is it what it's there for or whatever. But we generally say if it's within Gimel Tvachim and it's there for the schach itself to mishamish the schach, so then it doesn't make a difference. We'll get to that. Shaking an Elon, the Elon is not there to mishamish the schach at all. It's just there. It's its own separate entity. So that we said that's the difference with that. So base, going back to the thing of cutting it. Kosher. If you cut the branches and just let them fall on the sukkah, that's fine. However, you need to go ahead and shake them up. You pick each one up and put it back down. You pick each one up. It's considered ta'asev lo min ha'aso. You have to make the sukkah, not have it be made for you. And again, this is the shita of the Rambam. You're allowed to build a sukkah under something mechuber, if it's not a house or some other structure, or some other mechuber branches, I guess, whatever, or bayis hasir achar, and then to take the roof off the house afterwards. Since it doesn't, the psul is not, you don't have to go ahead and shake it up, that even though, even if it's that you have a retractable roof and you build your sukkah and then you retract the roof, as though you don't have to go ahead and start lifting all the schach up, because that's not considered tasa lo min ha'asui. Because it's not like it's not as the Russian is in a psul b'schach. It's not the problem. Tasmin also is that you took the branches of the tree which were there for shade already, and you cut them off, and they all fell down in your sukkah. That's very nice. That was tasa. The shade was there already. But since over here you're not, the schach itself is not tasa. The schach is not puzzle. It's that you have something blocking it. You have a roof on top. So that's not a problem. Tassel also, it's only on the schach itself. So therefore, it would be mutter to go ahead and to build it, and then to even not even a retractable roof, even just to go ahead and remove the roof, that would be fine. So let's just read the Mechaber of Gimel. If you go ahead and let's say you make a sukkah in a house where you took off the ceiling, the roof, and there's slats overhead. Even though the slats are there, it won't possible because these slats are not made to be a roof. They're made to be slats to support the roof. So therefore, if you make it as a roof, if for example the case is a pergola, if you have a pergola there as a roof for during the year, then and then you just put schach on top, it's problematic. Yeah, there has to be that there's if there has to be more than gimel tfachim. There's different things about how to be machshir. I'll get into in a second. However, however, with the slats, what the Chaim talk about is the lattice work or whatever it is, that's not a problem. Even if it's less than gimel tfachim, you don't say it's kilu lavud and the whole thing's covered. You can put schach on top of the lattice if that wasn't made for a roof. We'll talk about pergola if that wasn't made for your ikar roof. So too, there's a discussion about what about clotheslines. More the get here at Israel. There's clotheslines or window bars. So a game here that's shut out over the sukkah. So some as long as the actual pieces are not starved, to gimel tfachim, the arbet fachim of sach puzzle altogether, then it's okay. But if a person wants to be machmir, wants to be yotzi, not to have any problems, then it's kedai to take some schach and put it on top of the clotheslines itself to mevatel the din lavud. So you have kosher schach up there also, or top. So let's say someone in the neighbor has a soragim above, to ask them to put a branch over there, so that would go ahead and take away the problem of chash of blocking of schach posel over there. And one other thing, right? So that's general what we talk about. We'll leave the rest. The Ramah has been saying we'll leave it for next week. So, yes, I wasn't sure for one.